Hey folks, Dean Paul here in the Cathedral Nave, where this upcoming Sunday we will be celebrating the Feast of Christ the King. And believe it or not, on that very Sunday, on the Feast of Christ the King, when we say all sorts of amazing things about the life of Christian discipleship, the life of all those who would follow Jesus in their private and public lives, on a Sunday when we are absolutely clear that despite all of the claims on our lives of the powers and principalities around us, that there is only one Lord, and that Lord is Jesus, the Prince of Peace and King of Kings. On this very Sunday, the 21st of November, we will be celebrating the new membership here at the Cathedral of a number of individuals and households who have decided that they want to share life with us as members of St. Mark's Cathedral congregation. This is a big deal, particularly in the midst of a pandemic where folks have been isolated and it's been challenging to develop any sort of community, that we have folks who are reaching out to us through the networks we've got both online and in person, so ably tended by Mary Lusk, our Canon community organizer here, who continues to bring people into the life of faith here at the Cathedral, get them connected and networked, so that they know the myriad ways that they can feed their own lives and that they can learn and pray and serve among us here as members not only of this congregation, but as Christian members of the community which we are here to serve. It will be a great Sunday, and I hope that if you're not able to be here with us, you will at least tune in online to celebrate this miraculous occasion of new membership. Here at the Cathedral, we often talk about organizing our lives in the areas of gather and transform and send. In fact, it's the commission structure within our Cathedral Council that our entire worship and program life is oriented around ensuring that everything we do pays attention to the ways that we bring people together, the ways that we change lives, and the ways that we send folks back into the life we live on a day-to-day basis. And everything we do here tries to make sure that we're tending not only to the pieces of gather, transform, send that are easily identifiable and kind of fixable and plannable, for that matter, that stuff above the surface of the water, to use the iceberg metaphor. But the Gather, Transform, Send framework also helps us pay attention to the myriad things under the surface of the water, those things that happen around here that either affirm or challenge our efforts to gather and to transform and to send lives that we may not even know about. There are things sometimes working against our best efforts, and we need to know about those things and pay attention to them. And there are often things that shape us here in the life of a cathedral congregation that we need to bring to the surface and celebrate, so that we can make sure that we're doing those things with intention. Things this time of year, for example, about how we talk about money, or throughout the course of the year, how do we grieve together, and how do we confront and support one another in the midst of massive change and massive tension and conflict and danger in the world around us. How do we, as a community, what is the static in the air? And we tend to all of those things as intentionally as we can in the Gather, Transform, Send framework. And of course, this weekend's celebration of new membership falls certainly within the Gather framework, where we're really intentional about how we invite folks to consider life with us, how we welcome them when they show up and try things on for the very first time, a little bit about how we orient them to life here at the Cathedral, and of course this Sunday is that final fourth piece of incorporating them here at the Cathedral. All four of those pieces are how we gather people at the Cathedral. I want to say a particular piece at this time in the church's year around our sending ministries, and I particularly want to celebrate the ministry among us of the venerable archdeacon now, Rena Turnham, who has served among us in the Office of Community Engagement now for 6 years. She's only 1 year behind me in terms of tenure here at the Cathedral. Rena is the Associate for Community Engagement. She's a part-time stipended clergy person among us whose sole work is around making sure that here at the cathedral, everyone who wants to explore how it is that their faith connects in their daily lives when they leave here, whether it is how they show up at work or how they show up in family, how they show up on school boards, how they show up at political rallies, how they show up as people who make intentional decisions about what they do and don't spend their money on, people who show up at voting booths, people who show up at rallies for climate justice or for police reform or for immigration reform. Rena's work with the Office of Community Engagement is specifically about helping everyone sort of discern where their gifts and their passions are as change agents on God's behalf in the world around us. And Rena has, over these 6 years, done remarkable work. Rena came to us at a time when we had a number of ministries around us that had been with us for some time and that needed to be sunsetted. They were ministries that were effective and made life-changing work over the course of many years. But Rena's task early on was to help us end some things that were no longer sustainable among us. And she did that valiantly. And we all took a number of lumps doing that because it's hard to end things. But Rena has also helped with this sort of clear slate to help us discern again where the passions of the current congregation lie. And so we have identified a number of new direct service ministries of which we're partners. Some of those are on site, some of them are here in the community. Rena has also identified a number of neighborhood partnerships and citywide partnerships for folks who want to tend to issues around housing insecurity or student support. There are ways that Rena can help network you with folks who are doing good work in the community around us. And likewise, there are community action and faith in action movements, big issues around climate justice and around immigration reform and around police reform and around housing as a developmental concern here in the Twin Cities. And Rena has put together not only a weekly newsletter that comes out on Wednesdays, which is chock full of good information and links to get you connected to the folks doing the work, but Rena has also created a holding spot once a month where folks can come together and just talk about their experience, on the one hand, of discerning what they're interested in and that one thing that they want to really commit to make a difference in the community around us, knowing that none of us can do everything. But also talking through how it is that people maybe pivot from something that wasn't a fit and have found new fits. And it's really just a space for solidarity and group reflection about what is and isn't working in our own lives as disciples of Jesus in the world around us. I hope you'll avail yourself of a group like this if you're trying to figure out in your own life, how am I making a difference in the community around us? How am I connecting faith with action and faith with public policy? Because it can be overwhelming looking at the challenges in the world around us to feel like maybe you should do a little of everything. But the truth is, each of us only has so much energy to do one or two things at any given time. And Deacon Rena's work really is to help folks gather together and do the discernment about what that one or two things are in each of our lives. And it's a real gift for us because we're sent out not to be exhausted and overwhelmed, but to be sent out to be faithful and energized and clear about who we're called to be in the world on God's behalf. I hope you'll join me in thanking Archdeacon Rena and her community network of leaders within the community engagement framework who have just done Herculean work over these last 6 years to help St. Mark's get clear about who we are, therefore, on the community's behalf around us. It's not easy work. It is not for the faint of heart, but she has certainly given it her whole heart, and it has made a huge difference for us around here at the cathedral. So pay attention to that. If you've never spent any time looking at any of this, I invite you to go to the cathedral website, ourcathedral.org, click on the send button, and just surf your way through all of those links under send. Again, remember, this Sunday, Christ the King Sunday, the 21st. The Sunday after that, on the 28th, is Advent 1, the beginning of our new liturgical year. And I couldn't be more excited to start another year here with you at St. Mark's. Take good care. Be well.